Tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hello, Lashy Kids and Driving Mutants. We made it through another week. You have to laugh to keep from crying. How is everybody doing? Let me get myself situated here. There we go. Tormain says, LOL, that's dope. I'm in the hot ass boxing room. I'll chat more when I'm out of here. No problem. And as for anybody, if you're listening at work, don't feel like you have to comment, because I don't want y'all to get in trouble at work. So I'll just try to keep talking and keep you entertained, working hard on this. The way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to talk about Chucky first. I think usually do I usually talk about Chucky first or Stranger Things first? I can't remember, but today I'm going to talk about Chucky first, and then I'm going to talk just a little tiny bit about Star Trek, and then we're going to get into Stranger Things, because I feel like that's going to take the longest amount of time. So let me get myself queued up here. that. And then I'm going to increase the size of this. I don't know if you guys noticed, but each time they do an intro for Chucky, it's a different object that's forming the words Chucky. I thought that was kind of cool. Like one time it was knives, this time it's the dolls, and I like how they made the doll, even the face move in there. I thought that's kind of cool. But anyways, this is episode 8, and it is called An Affair to Dismember. It starts off right where the last one left off, with Junior and Chucky looking out the window as the doorbell was just now rang by Andy. And it's funny because Junior makes a crack about Andy's height, saying that he's only a little bit taller than you, Chucky. And I thought that was kind of funny. So Andy comes to the door, and he's actually looking for Jake. But, you know, of course, Junior's not going to tell Andy what's up because Junior is like in league with Chucky right now. Lost my train of thought. There's a bit of suspense as Andy is walking through the house because we all know that Junior has just used Chucky to pretty much murder his own father. So Junior's, you know, in a state of psychopathy, maybe. I guess you would call it. But he goes in, and there's a great scene where he's like in the bathroom and he sticks his arm in a bathtub looking for Chucky. You think Chucky's going to be in a bathtub, but fortunately for Andy, Chucky was not in a bathtub. Chucky was hiding in the toilet. This show is to me, this is hilarious. A doll coming out of a toilet. So anyways, Chucky says, I knew he'd never look in here. And so that kind of throws Junior for a little bit of a loop because Junior was kind of expecting Chucky to kill Andy, but he didn't do it. And so he's talking to Junior a little bit more about what their plans are going to be. Meanwhile, Jake and Lexi are looking for Devin because they know that there's more than one Chucky, so they're trying to find Devin to keep him safe as well. But before they can do that, Chucky tries to attack them. A different Chucky than the one that was in the toilet tries to attack them, and Kyle shows up just in the nick of time and blasts that dude right, like the other Chucky, alternate Chucky variant, Chucky number 27. I don't know how you want to call the multiple Chuckies. She blasts him dead in the face. This is what he looked like afterwards. I know you guys probably think there's something wrong with me, why I get a kick out of this, but I do. I mean, I can't help it. This is just the way God made me. So anyways, Kyle blasts Chucky right in the face, and you know, this is what happens there. And she tells Jake and Lexi pretty much like a little bit of the backstory of Chucky and why there can be multiple Chuckies, but then she drugs them and she tells them as they're falling to sleep that this is the only way she can keep them safe because she knows that they're going to probably try to go after Chucky themselves, and them being children and her being an adult, she wants to keep them safe. So she drugs them, puts them to sleep, and goes on about trying to find Chucky. Meanwhile, the Chucky that is with Junior, let me see what Trash Picture Show says. Oh, wait. Let me get a couple comments here. Marty says, yeah, there was gravestones with all the characters who Chucky killed in the franchise. Oh, I didn't notice that in the background. I should have looked. I should have looked at the other gravestones besides just the 3 that were at the end of the episode. Tony Man says, you go Stranger Things and then Chucky. And Chucky intros, I've noticed, usually go with the murder weapon. I think you're right. Marty says, you are wonderfully crazy laughing at that. I know. I know growing up, which is funny because today is National Childhood Day in America. So you're supposed to like feed your inner child or celebrate childhood or whatever this day means to you. To me, I feel like you should feed your inner child. And I know I freaked a lot of people out as a child by being entertained by these type of things. So this is the Chucky that was with Junior reuniting with Tiffany. And, you know, you can see she's so happy to see him. Look, I just get a kick out of her kissing this doll. But anyways, they get back to the house that was the house that Chucky grew up in that Tiffany has purchased. And of course, Chucky and Junior are there. And when they go down into the basement with Tiffany, they still have Devin tied to a chair. And as you can see, all the Chuckies are there. During this scene, the Chuckies actually discuss what victims are off limits. And they say that babies are off limits. They do not kill babies because they are not monsters. So it's good to know. But then they discuss what constitutes a baby. And like, because some of the Chucky dolls say some of these babies are pretty big. And so they're just like, nah, just babies that aren't like walking, talking. They're not, children, officially children yet. Someone says, I have no problem with what you find funny. My sense of humor is probably more morbid. Mm-hmm. And these are not all the Chuckies, mind you. These are just the Chuckies that are in the house. There's more Chuckies that are in a supply truck. But all these Chuckies, well, the thing about Chucky, I should mention to anyone that maybe hasn't watched Cult of Chucky, because it's in Cult of Chucky that they established that Chucky can fracture his soul basically into all of these different beings, including Nika, using the power of Damballa. So that's why there's so many Chuckies. Chucky ends up kind of getting into an argument with Tiffany, both as Nika and then also as the main leader Chucky that's here in the middle. And at one point, the leader Chucky that's here in the middle tells Tiffany to kill Nika Chucky. And so she's not trying to do it. And then he tells Junior to do it. But just before Junior does it, I almost forgot about that. I put this GIF there because during that conversation, Chucky made a joke about that time that he killed Andy's babysitter. And this is what he's referring to. He just thought it was so funny. He was like, he said something about Andy being a punk because he cried so much when he killed his babysitter. And of course, that's a callback to the original Child's Play. But Tiffany ends up decapitating Chucky. And, he's still talking to herself, calling her all kind of bees and how he's going to get her. They have such a wild relationship. But so she decapitates the leader Chucky so that she doesn't have to kill Nika Chucky because she kind of likes Nika. They end up taking off in a car. Tiffany, Junior, and Nika, and they actually leave Devin tied in a chair in the basement. But one of the other Chuckies, well, this Chucky, the decapitated Chucky, tells one of the other Chuckies to kill Devin. I know this is so hard for me to describe because there's so many Chuckies. Decapitated Chucky tells one of the other Chuckies to kill Devin, and as that Chucky is heading towards killing Devin, just in the nick of time, Andy shows up and bashes him with a baseball bat. And he gets Devin free, but just before then, they didn't know that Tiffany had set up these bombs. This is all like, I don't know what you call these. Somebody in the chat, tell me what these, they're kind of like that clay stuff, and then you put the wires in it and it makes bombs. I forget what you call it. C4? Is it called C4? Somebody in the chat, let me know. But she had set a bomb in there, and they are yelling for people to not open the door. But then Chucky pretends to be like a child that's in danger. And unfortunately, that's when Kyle shows up, and Kyle thinks it's a child that's in danger. So she opens the door, and that sets off the dang bomb. See this here? They're yelling, don't open the door. And Kyle is about to open the door. And so, yeah, the bomb goes off. And we're led to believe that Andy and Devin are passed away. But fortunately, Andy and Devin got out of there. They never show us how they got out of there, but they got out of there. And of course, Jake is super, super happy to be reunited with Devin. Now my internet is acting up. Hopefully I'm not sputtering or anything like that. Thank you. Both Tony Man and Marty guessed it, C4. So then, let me see. Am I forgetting anything? No, I talked about that. I think it's about time for the benefit. Yes, Lexi's mother holds this theater benefit where she's playing Frankenstein to benefit like a children's charity. And the special guest is Jennifer Tilly playing herself. And they actually also mentioned that she is a poker player. I think she's like a world class poker player, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is true in real life. And I noticed also in this benefit screening of Frankenstein, they played the original Frankenstein, the one where he throws little Maria in the water. In the years after that original release of Frankenstein, a lot of versions have that scene edited where you don't see Frankenstein throw the little girl in the water. But they show the original Frankenstein in this. And back of the screen, Lexi ends up kind of chasing down Junior because she saw him running down the hallway with Chucky. And she's thinking that Chucky is holding him hostage because he has a knife, but really he's in league with Chucky. And this is when he's like trying to talk to her about how Chucky freed him by making him not be afraid anymore. Of course, she doesn't know that he iced his father. Lord says, how do we know this really Lady Shasha and not a possessed Shasha? I don't know how you would know. You have no way of knowing, do you? So what was I saying? Yeah. So she's trying to convince him to put down a knife and go back to normal, but it's too late. He's too far gone. Well, maybe not. He's kind of battling himself because on the one hand, he wants Lexi to join him, but on the other hand, he's like on Chucky's side. So there's that. Meanwhile, Chucky decides he's going to go underneath all the seats. And this is one of the funniest scenes of the whole series. Chucky is crawling underneath the movie theater patron seats and stabbing them up in the ass. Right? Some of them got stabbed in the back, but most of them, I think, got stabbed in the ass. I can't even say it. Every time I try to say it, just picture the doll underneath the theater seat stabbing upward. You know what part of the body you're going to get stabbed in. But that was hilarious. I don't know. Well, yeah, I know. It's meant to be funny. It's definitely meant to be funny. So this is him stabbing up the theater until Jake tries to confront him. I like that. I love how fluid the motion is now for the animatronic. And also, I wish I had captured some of the gifs of the facial articulation. It is like 20 times better than it was in 1988. Like, it's amazing. Meanwhile, backstage, Junior ends up fighting Chucky. And unfortunately, they stab each other. That's a very, like, I would almost say poetic ending to them. Chucky gets the upper hand at first with Jake, and Jake can't understand why the doll is so strong, but Chucky tells him that he's strong because he is commanding the power of Damballa, which, by the way, is a real figure in spirituality. I'll come back to that though. Jake finally turns the tables, and you see his foot on Chucky's face. And this is a capture of how, like, you could see the face actually contort into this expression. Like, that's how good the animatronics are in this show, where he goes from having a resting face to any type of emotion the doll wants to convey, they're able to do with the animatronics. It's so good. Like, it's amazingly good. Jake gets mad because Chucky he says something that's quite homophobic, and so this angers Jake, and Jake starts choking him out till now. This is only just the eyeballs bulging, but the eyeballs literally pop out of his head and roll on the ground, and I thought it was beautiful. I mean, that's my type of show. It was so well done, so well done. And of course, Lexi is sad because Junior is passed away because he and Chucky stabbed each other. I really like how this scene is lit with the blue gels over here, and you have the red ones over here. I like that a lot. And then I can't see in the background, but a lot of what was happening in the background on the screen with Frankenstein mirrored what was happening in the foreground with Junior, Lexi, and Chucky. Even at one point where they were standing, it was framed up with Chucky standing where Dr. Frankenstein is standing, and Junior is standing where Frankenstein's monster is standing, and then there's a bride in the middle that's screaming, and that's right where Lexi was standing as well. So I liked those little touches. Marty says, super nerdy question, Lady Shasha. Have you read the /Chucky comics? I have not read the Chucky comics, but I will look into that. I didn't know that there were /Chucky comics, but I'm going to find them now that you've told me about that. Oh, it's /versus Chucky. Okay, I will look for that. I will look for that because I like horror comics. And these are the three survivors from the movie. Well, the three main characters who are survivors. A lot of people survived because they ran out of the theater. But our main characters that survived this season are Jake, Devin, and Lexi. And Lexi's little sister and her mother. Because Lexi's father got killed in there too by Chucky. He's one of the people that got stabbed in the seat. So they each lost a parent. And then we see that Andy has tried to steal the truck that's filled with the other Chucky dolls. And Tiffany shows up with her gun. Look at the little gun. I'm going to zoom in on this. Look at the little doll hand with the gun. I can't. These are the type of things that make me laugh. I love it. This Tiffany doll has less eye makeup on than she usually does. She usually has like a dark smoky eye, but this one only has the eyeliner. I like the smoky eye. So anyways, she's holding him hostage. Tony says, I like how your lip gloss, tank top, and fingernails all match. Sorry for staring off the moors. Did they already confirm season 2 of Chucky? Yes, they did confirm season 2 of Chucky. And there's a cool surprise. Thank you for the compliment about the nails. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. I just like pink so much. I guess I just end up doing this anyways. But at the end of this, I'll tell you one of the little, it's not really a spoiler, but it's like a reveal of a actor that's going to be in season 2. So you think this is going to be the complete end of this episode and of this season? Because I ordinarily would think, oh, that's a good place to end it, with Andy being held hostage by Tiffany while he's driving the truck filled with Chuckies. No, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep going. Nika wakes up to find herself in a remake of Boxing Elena. And if you've ever seen Boxing Elena, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is what Tiffany did to Nika to make sure that she doesn't go anywhere. And that is super, super horrifying. Marty says, I hope Nika gets to possess a doll after what happened to her. Wicked to have another badass female doll. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool to introduce another doll. Although I do think someone else might. Well, I said earlier that this person might be another incarnation of a doll. And that person is, well, I'll tell after this. The 3 kids that are survivors went to they had their own little funeral for Junior. And you see his gravestone right there next to his father and his mother's. The Wheeler family. I think his mother's name was Bree. What was his father's name? Jordan or something? Logan. So the 3 headstones there say Junior, Logan, and Bree Wheeler. And so they're, paying their respects. But back to what I was about to say about the other character that I think is hinted at. That's right, Marty. That's who I was about to say. I'll come back to that. This is who I think the science teacher is. I think that she's the Glenda part of Glenda. Because if you remember at the end of Seed of Chucky, Tiffany had twins. And so Glenn and Glenda's spirits kind of fractured into the twins, a male twin and a female twin. And the female twin, or the twin that appears to be female and is playing this, or is the science teacher, I think that's the same. That's going to be this person. That's what I'm thinking. It's just too coincidental. It's too coincidental to have this teacher here with this red hair. I don't know. That's just me. But what was Also very cool at the end of this is Chucky greets us by the fireplace, and he tells us that he hopes that we enjoyed his show and that we'll come back for a second season. And then he gives us his kill count, and he shows, you know, the different ways that he kills people, and his kill count is 21, and he's very proud of that. Now, what I was going to say about season 2, let me I think that was all the, yeah. So I'm going to close that and show you. If I could pull it up. I feel like my nose is extra shiny today, like the light is reflecting off my nose. Let me see. Here it is. They shared this image of the season 2 cast, and it looks like joining the cast. That looks like Joe Pantoliano right there. And over here, I don't know if you recognize her, but that is Meg Tilly, Jennifer's sister. I'm going to actually, I should click on the article so I can confirm who that is. Okay, it says Chucky sees, oh, I don't want to disable my ad blocker. God darn it. Okay, let's see here. Ad block. We'll pause on this site. I hate when you have to do this crap. It's so annoying. There we go. Okay, it says Chucky season 2 has confirmed a large portion of its cast, which includes new additions: Gina Gershon, Joe Pantoliano. I have issues trying to pronounce that, sorry. Among others, the first TV show in Don Mancini's continuing Child's Play franchise. Chucky premiered on Sci-Fi and USA Network in 2021. The series is set after the events of 2017's Cult of Chucky, and it follows the homicidal doll as he commits another series of murders in Hackensack, New Jersey. The show was one of the highest-rated cable TV premieres in 2021, and with a glowing critical reception, Chucky was quickly picked up for season 2 by its home networks. Goes on to say, with Chucky, several noted Child's Play veterans have staged a comeback. For one, Brad Dourif returned to voice Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, while Jennifer Tilly, Alex Vincent, and Christine Elise are reprising their roles as Tiffany, Alex, and Kyle. However, apart from the returning players, Chucky largely centers on a new cast of teenagers, played by rising actors Zachary Arthur, Teo Briones, Bjorvin Arnarvson. Oops, I hit my mouth. Let me say it again. Bjorvin Arnarvson and Olivia Allen Lind. Heading into Chucky season 2, there will be some shakeups in the main cast, with Fiona Dourif returning and Devin Sawa playing a new character. Oh, they're gonna what's his name? Homeboy that was in Hatchet. Do you remember him? They kept on bringing him back. It's his name on one of these. Perry Shin. Shout out to Perry Shin. Perry Shin, I think he was killed like 3 times in the Hatchet movies. He's right up there with Michelle Rodriguez, who was killed 3 times in the Resident Evil series. So maybe Devin Sawa will be killed 3 times in the Chucky series. Now, where was I? Okay, it says Devin Sawa will be playing a new character. Now, some additional information about the season 2 castings have been revealed. And is this... Here we go. Right. Close that. I will watch The Boys later. By the way, if you're interested in reviews of The Boys, I started reviewing The Boys on my channel, but I continue to review The Boys with Hood podcast. I made a playlist of our reviews, and our newest one will be up on Monday. But check the community tab, and you'll see where I shared the playlist. But also, if you just looked under playlists, it's there as well. Tony Mann says, just call him Joey Pants. Yeah, I've heard that before. People call him Joey Pants. In a recent tweet, Sci-Fi announced new cast additions for Chucky Season 2. The newcomers include Meg Tilly from Psycho 2, which I love. Do I have that right here? I have it right here. I'm not knock everything over while I'm trying to pull this out carefully. Yeah, there it is. There it is. That's Psycho 2 and 3. These are, of course, VHS. I don't have them as a DVD. It'd be nice to get that as a DVD, but yeah, Psycho 2 and 3 classics. I'll put that there. It's got dust on it. I got to clean that off. Okay, so Gina Gershon from Borderlands and other things. I can't remember other things I've seen Gina Gershon in. Joey Pants, Bad Boys for Life, Tony Napo from Saw 2, and Sutton Strack from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Which is interesting that they would get Sutton Strack, because aren't there 2 women on the Housewives of Beverly Hills that are sisters, that one of them was in the original Halloween and the other one was in like Escape from Witch Mountain or something? It's very interesting that they didn't get one of those 2. No details about the characters have been disclosed, although viewers can get a potential glimpse at them in character as they pose together for a cast photo shown below. And this is the tweet that the Sci-Fi Channel showed. It says, "Look who's coming to the party, hashtag Chucky Season 2. And it's a lovely picture of them. I have these same slippers, except mine are white. They're super comfortable. But yeah, I guess they're all dressed in character. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about that. All right, let's get ready. What do y'all think of Chucky? This season of Chucky, and are you looking forward to the next season of Chucky? Okay. Marty says, I wish Sci-Fi had picked up Ash versus the Evil Dead. Yeah. I think that ended up going to Netflix. I think that's where it ended up. I'm not sure if that's its final resting place, but I ended up watching it on Netflix. Marty says, definitely looking forward to season 2. I'm very much looking forward to season 2, Lordran says. Tony Man says, did I lose audio? No, I wasn't talking for a moment because I was focusing on trying to pull up the next batch of images, which I don't have as many for this as I did for Chucky. Never mind, I heard the sniffle. Lorgen says, Ash was just getting good, too. Damn you, Stars. Damn you to hell. Yeah, Stars doesn't have enough, I guess, programming for me to want to pay for it, because the last thing that I was watching on Stars was From, which I have to finish. I'll probably start finishing those next week, but I was watching From, but I wasn't watching it directly on Stars. I was watching it on Amazon Prime, and you can like pay for the episodes on Amazon Prime, because I didn't want to just get stars just for that. And I think oh, what is that show? There's a show with a guy whose name is Ghost, and he's got like a white brother named Tommy, and he has a son that's always in some bullshit. They got his sister killed, and I can't remember the name of the show. It was really, it's really I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I mean, it's not meant to be funny, but it was funny as hell to me. Power. Thank you, Lordran. Yeah, it was called Power. Yeah, I couldn't get it. Tony Man says also Power. Yeah, I couldn't get into it. Like, it was too funny. Like, it's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be dead ass serious. But it was I was cracking up most of the time because the situations were that his son, if that was my son, I'd have beat his ass. Sorry. That son, I'd have beat his ass and I'd send his ass to boarding school. No, you out of here. You caused me too many headaches. You caused too many problems. You out of here. Not only am I sending you to boarding school, I'm sending you to boarding school in another country. Imagine how much would have changed in their lives if they just sent Tyreek away to boarding school in another country. Letting this boy get into all these kind of issues. Okay, Marty says Kate Bush has had a big resurgence thanks to Stranger Things. Shasha, if you could bring back one obscure song from the 80s, what would you pick? This is true. I'm going to talk about both things. Number one, with the Kate Bush song, after episode 4, I could not get that song out of my head. Like, it was an earworm. And I ended up looking up the original video for that song and also one of her performances I watched. And for some reason, I kind of remember her from the 90s. I feel like she might have been on the Lilith Fair festival, but I didn't remember her from the 80s, so I wasn't familiar with that song before Stranger Things. And an obscure song from the 80s that I would want to bring back. Let me think. What songs do I listen to that would be considered obscure? No, I don't think that's obscure enough. Because I was going to say Talking Heads, but I don't think they're really that obscure. Lorden says Placebo did a remix of that song Running. It's pretty good, though. I'll have to check that out. Tony Man says Kate Bush is in the Guinness Book of Records because of that song. Oh, wow. Yeah, because I heard the song itself is 39 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And so if it came back to like a #1 status after 39 years, that's pretty amazing. I'm still trying to think on that obscure song thing. Yeah, because most of the 80s music that I can think of, I don't think any of them are really obscure. I think I know mostly like top 40 hits from the 80s. Because the songs I keep thinking of I don't think they're obscure. Like, the first song that came to my head was Talking Heads' Days Go By. And the second song that came to my head was that song. I think it's, the words are, I don't care what you say anymore, it's my life. But I don't know who sings it. But I feel like that could come back. Tony Man says they need to bring back Goodbye Horses from A Dancing Buffalo Bill. I think Goodbye Horses is a decent song that movie kind of made people think of in a negative way. And I feel bad for the writers of Goodbye Horses. I know a song I'd like to come back. Is it 80s or is it 90s? I think it's New Order, People Are People, or is that Pet Shop Boys? I always confuse Pet Shop Boys movies with New Order. I mean, Pet Shop Boys songs with New Order songs that sound similar to me. But People Are People, whoever sings that should be #1 again. I want that to come back. That's the one I choose. I feel like I'm in a Pokemon. Charizard, I choose you. Marty says, Rise by John Linden would be mine. I don't know that song. But yeah, definitely People Are People. Hold on, let me Google that right quick to make sure it's 80s and not 90s. I feel like it's 80s, but I could be wrong. and find out who sings it. Whether it's New Order or Pet Shop Boys. Neither one. It was Depeche Mode. I said New Order and Pet Shop Boys, and it was Depeche Mode this whole time. So that's 3 groups that sound the same. What year did it come out? 1984. Okay, so it is 80s, definitely. See, Marty thought it too. Marty said that's New Order, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, see? So there's 3 groups that sound the same to me that I cannot tell the difference. It's Pet Shop Boys, New Order, and Depeche Mode. If anyone can tell me the difference between the sound of these 3 groups, let me know. Oh, I should share the screen so you guys can see. Yeah, see? It says People Are People, song by Depeche Mode. I wish I could play it, but I'll get dinged for copyright, and that sucks. But yeah. All right, let me share so we go. Yeah, Marty says, Jesus, I was wrong too. Yeah, and that's your neck of the woods. I'm pretty sure all 3 of these groups are from the UK. But we have these same issues in America. There are, with us, it's groups where the lead singer went solo. So then, like, I was having this conversation, I think it was last week, about which songs are Peter Cetera songs and which songs are Chicago songs. Of course, with another group like Lionel Richie and the Commodores, we kind of, or at least I kind of remember the songs that are Lionel Richie songs versus songs that are Commodore songs. But then some of these new artists sound the same to me. Like, I could not tell the difference if you played Summer Walker for me and you played what's the other girl's name? There's another girl that she's like Summer Walker, but she's not Summer Walker. They sound the same to me. The other girl, she got arrested for being drunk somewhere in Europe, and she blamed it on racism, but I think she was just drunk. Not every single time is racism. Sometimes you're just acting like a jackass. Lorden says, not only do you get a copyright struck, but the men in black come to get you. Yeah. I could get it if you played the whole song, but if you just play a snippet of something, I mean, they're going overboard. Like Tool and Perfect Circle, I always mix them up. There's actors like that. I went into this a couple years ago talking about the actors that I get mixed up. And when I was growing up, it was always Peter Weller and James Woods. I used to get them confused. Ernie Hudson and, oh goodness, what's the guy's name that was, he was in The Thing and he was also in They Live, and he had that extended fight scene with Roddy Piper. Keith David. Yeah, I used to get those 2 mixed up together. Then there's like a whole slew of like clone actresses that all look like Jamie Presley. Like, it's Jamie Presley, Margot Robbie, and there's like 2 others that look exactly like those 2. I don't know. They come out of a lab somewhere. Okay, so we're going to talk for a little bit about Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, I stumbled upon this just by virtue of going to my mother's house on the 4th of July. And if you don't know, for anybody that's new to the stream, my mother is a Trekkie. So I grew up having Star Trek on in the house. And she watches most versions from the 1964 original, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. She doesn't really care too much for Voyager. She told me she didn't like that one so much. She even watches, I think there's one called Lower Decks, and then there is a spoof of Star Trek called The Orville, and she watches that one also. And one of the newest ones that she's been watching is called Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, in Strange New Worlds, it follows Captain Pike. I don't remember his first name, but she told me that Captain Pike was the captain of the Enterprise before James Tiberius Kirk. And so this is kind of like a prequel to the 1964 Star Trek series. So you have Captain Pike, and then you also have Spock is there, Uhura is there. You see Spock right there. Let me go this way. Christopher Pike. Thank you, Marty. Christopher Pike. In this series, this is Uhura, and she's there with a character named Himmer, I think his name is. Let me wait. I'm sure I wrote it down. Yes, Himmer. And Himmer, his character design kind of reminds me of old girl from Guardians of the Galaxy. But what caught my attention about this episode, let me go back to my original starting point, is the storyline, which is very, very interesting. They land on this planet and they're going to recover this other starship, which has crashed. And so when they get there, they find this gentleman who goes by, I think he's called Buckley. Yeah. He goes by Buckley, and he is not in good shape. He's breathing all heavy, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Why is he sick? And so he's in the sick bay, and they're, running tests and trying to figure out what's going on with him. There's something. He's appears to be sick, but we can't figure out what his issues are. Oh, I skipped over Lordran. Lordran, you're right. Margot Robbie and Samara Weaving. He says, you can't tell me Margot Robbie and Samara Weaving aren't the same person. Exactly. And they're both clones of Jamie Presley. I'm just like, it's wild. And there's a fourth one. I don't know her name, but yeah, I almost wonder what would have happened if Samara Weaving, who's Hugo Weaving of Matrix fame, niece, what if she played Harley Quinn? I wonder how that would have turned out. That would have been interesting, because I want to say it was Samara Weaving that was in what was the name of it? There was a horror thriller movie about an office building where the people were locked in there and they kind of had to fight their way out, kind of fight to the death to get out. I can't recall the name of it, but there's a scene where Samara Weaving is holding up somebody's tongue, and I was like, that's Harley Quinn. But somebody let me know what was the name of that movie. It's a bunch of office workers locked in a building, and they have to fight for their lives. Marty says, I was joking with my friend when they mentioned the Gorn, that they'd break out that old silly arse monster suit and have it fight actors. Now this is what, see, spoiler alert. Yeah, Marty, wait for it. Okay, so Buckley is sitting here. This is Buckley sitting here in the sick bay, and he can't breathe and he can't communicate with the doctor there. And suddenly there's this little girl there that's, we're going to call her not, what's the little girl's name from Newt? Not Newt. You can see this is Newt here on the right, and this is not Newt. They're also in the sick bay, and she's getting antsy. She just takes off. She doesn't tell anybody why she's taking off, but she just takes off. Lordran guessed it. Wait, no, it's not Mayhem. There's another one. It came out around the same time as Mayhem, though. But I know the one you're talking about. There's Mayhem and there's another one. I can't recall, but they both came out around the same year. So not Newt takes off. She doesn't tell anybody what's going on. And this tweet says the Gorn mostly come out at night, mostly. And it's funny because in this episode, the Gorn is presented as this creature who's not a chest burster. He's a back burster. So the Gorn, the baby Gorn, burst out of the back of Buckley. And I'm like, what in the alien? Star Trek, why did you do this? Why did you just take, you just said, let me borrow that. Marty says, Glenn from The Walking Dead is in that one, right? Yes, Glenn from The Walking Dead is in Mayhem. But there's another movie, and they have a similar premise. It's not Severance, Tony Man. I'm going to have to... You know what? Hold on. I'm about to Google it right now because it's going to bug me. Okay, I'm Googling horror movie with Samara Weaving in an office building. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Samara Weaving was in Mayhem. I apologize, Lordran. Samara Weaving was in Mayhem. So what's the other movie I'm thinking of that's like Mayhem? The Belko Experiment. That's the one I was. So I was thinking of the name, the Belko Experiment, but I was thinking of the movie Mayhem. Okay. Yes, Lordran got it. The Belko Experiment. Yeah, both of those movies have the same or similar premises. But I was wrong. It was Mayhem that Samara Weaving was in. Marty says that one is James Gunn's produced movie. Yes. So where was I? So the baby Gorn pops out of Buckley's back, and the rest of the episode is just them running around trying to get rid of these baby Gorns. And it's, shot like this. It's shot like you're watching an alien movie and not Star Trek at all. This is what the Gorn looks like now. Which, by the way, I thought the effects were pretty good because when you look at, like, this picture doesn't do it justice. I have a couple others. Like this one, it looks really great. Look at this one here. That looks really, really great. And when you see it in motion, it's like, if they just wet this area a little bit more, I'd say it's almost on Jurassic Park level. Very close. Look at these. These are great. This is the Gorn in motion. And it spits acid also. And the other thing that was interesting about the Gorn is when they would show the Gorn's point of view, it was like Predator, where it was what do you call it? Like infrared, like infrared light or like body heat sensing. That's what the Gorn's point of view was. So they're not only ripping off Alien, they're also ripping off Predator. And some of the noises that it was making sounded like the little clicking sounded like Predator. Now, what makes this hilarious to me is I grew up seeing this as the Gorn. This is what Marty was talking about. This is what we grew up seeing as the Gorn. Now there's probably some little kids that when they think of Gorn, this is what they're going to think of. This is the Gorn. and they're not going to have the music in their head because when I see this, I hear the music that when they were, when the Gorn was fighting Kirk with the fake rocks. It's a classic scene. You just had to be there, I guess. Well, I wasn't even there because this is from the 1960s, but it was replayed on television in the 80s. Marty says, shite, I prefer the suit with leotard. Yes. The rubber suit. Tony says, horribly bad acting. I wished all the main characters died. I didn't wish that because I only saw the one episode, so I can't fully judge it. It'd be one thing if I watched it from episode 1 to 9, then I could get a better gauge on the characters or how they're meant to be played. But I only watched this one episode just because, like I said, I happened to be at my mother's house on the 4th of July, and she was watching it. Marty says they just made it a xenomorph. Yeah, basically. Marty says Gorin, but not forgotten. Mm-hmm. But we did, like I said, we did get to see Spock doing his usual, being upset about having emotions. He always forgets that he's half human. Like, dude, you're half human. I know you grew up with only Vulcans around, so you feel some type of way every time you express emotions, but, you're half human, so you're going to have emotions. And this is the new the new actress playing Uhura, I should have got a better image of her, but there was some character development with her backstory. And it sounds like in episode 10, because when I was looking up for these pictures, I stumbled upon a couple articles, and it sounds like episode 10 is going to explore more of Uhura's backstory, so I might check that out. Because that's to me, that's very important, because it's something that I found is important to my mother, because she told me her growing up being a little black girl and seeing Uhura on the Starship Enterprise meant the world to her. And she also ended up getting a degree in sciences, like her degree is in forensic science, and she wouldn't have thought that she could grow up and go into the sciences if she had not seen Uhura on Star Trek. So representation matters. Okay, Toby says, I was about to request the Kirk versus Gorn song, but you already did it. Yeah. I have to hum it because I'm sure I'll get dinged with copyright if I try to play the scene. Marty says, gotta do laundry, but I'll be listening to you in the background. I appreciate it, Marty. That was either a Predomorph or a Xenotor. like Predator and Xenomorph, and a Xenomorph and Predator, like if you mix them together, yes. All right, now I'm going to get into, I know everybody's about to travel now. But let me bring up just the poster of Stranger Things, and the Stranger Things, I'm not doing like a recap. I just want to do an open discussion of what y'all thought of this season, and if you like the volume 2, the way everything like wrapped up or not, because it was way too long for me to take. I'm not taking notes on 5 hours of content. I'm not doing. Well, technically, I do that weekly anyways, but it's with different shows. So let me just pull up the poster, and we'll just go from there. My initial response is I felt that it didn't need 5 hours. I feel like that was like, if you were going to do that, why make it 2 episodes? Why not just break it up into like the first, if you have volume 1 has 7 episodes, then why don't you just break up those 5 hours into volume 2 having 5 episodes instead of these 2 mega episodes? I feel like that was too extraneous. Is that the word I want to use? I think so. Okay, Tony Man says we're good. I'm on 5G. Okay, but watch that other driver. Be careful as you travel. Lorgen says zombies banging on my door. I can relate. Mm-hmm. There we go. I like this poster a lot because it represents how the different groups of people are separated. Because you have, I don't think that's, at first I thought it was 11, but it's not 11. That is meant to be Max down here. And then on the right side, you have Joyce, Hopper, and Murray. And then in the upside down, let me see who is there. It looks like that's, well, no, then that can't be, this has to be 11 because that's Max up here. Okay, so you have Steve, Max, Nancy, Dustin, Lucas, Erica, and oh, I can't remember this girl's name. I cannot remember the girl's name. Maya Hawke. The actress is Maya Hawke, but I can't remember her character's name for the life of me. And then down here you have Mike, John, Argyle, and Will. Somebody's missing. Eddie's missing. See, the poster right there tells you who's gonna die. Eddie's not on the poster. Ain't that a blip? And I hate that they introduce characters that we like and then kill them. In season 1, it was Barb. In season 2, I think it was the principal that was played by the little boy from Goonies. The little boy that said, "It's our time down here. It's our time." He played the principal of the high school in Stranger Things. I want to say it was season 2. And everybody liked him, and he had a nice relationship with Joyce, and then he got killed. And now this season is Eddie. And, you know, we all like Eddie. He was giving very much Robert Downey Jr., and he got, you know, he didn't make it. Trasper So says Robin. Yes, that's her name, Robin. I don't know why I blanked out. And it's interesting that I could remember all those names, because last year I don't think I could have done it. Turns out what I think it is with my memory issues, like I did read that a lot of people with ADHD have memory issues, but I think it exasperates the situation if you're not getting a restful enough sleep. Sometimes it's not the number of hours you sleep, but actually how deeply you sleep. And I think one of my biggest issues, I'm a super, super light sleeper and everything wakes me up. So I think the better I'm able to get a deeper, restful sleep, the better my mind can retain information. I don't know, just a theory I have. Marty says, I just spirited from my washing machine to tell you that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But what was I saying? Yeah, I didn't like that because we all liked Eddie, but they always do that. They do that with Barb. Like I said, they did with Barb, they did with the principal, and now they do it with Eddie. They should have killed Jonathan or Steve. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe that's mean to say, but like I'm done with them. Like, why are they still around? Just to be around and look 30 years old as teenagers? Like, I don't know. No, get rid of them. Get them out of here. And it would be more heartfelt that way. Like, get rid of those two. Lorden says they say cold showers can help with memory problems. Oh, I didn't know that. That sounds interesting. I hate cold showers, but I'm willing to try it if it will help me regain my memory. What's interesting, I was talking to my sister about that, and she was saying that she thinks that a lot of people, well, not just myself, but a lot of people have memory issues due to the amount of information that we take in weekly. If it's not just all these passwords and login information that we have to remember, it's news stories. And she said there's so many news stories, and the news stories come out, you know, like especially if you're reading Twitter or you're looking at all the different news channels. Like, for example, I don't have cable, so I don't watch, you know, CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or any of that. I usually go on YouTube, and YouTube has BBC News, BBC America, Al Jazeera, was it WION with that Indian lady Sharma, that she be talking her shit. She's entertaining though. She is entertaining. Sometimes I listen to Phil DeFranco, and he spits out the news so fast. Like, you better be listening if you're listening to Phil DeFranco, because that dude talks fast. But there's just so many news sources. Like, you can, because we have access to the internet, like you could look up all the local news everywhere in the world. Sometimes I watch the Japanese news, even though it's not subtitled, and I wish that they would subtitle it so I can understand it better. But a lot of times you can make out what they're talking about just by the visuals and everything. But yeah, and I watch what is it? Arirang News, which is a Korean news. There's just a bunch, and I encourage that. Like, don't just watch news in your neck of the woods. Watch news all around the world, not only just to see what's going on, but also to see other people's perspectives on the same things. Like, it's really interesting to listen to different people's perspectives on the same exact news stories. Okay, that's enough of that. The more you know stuff. How did I even get into that subject? Oh yeah, memory. Which I can bring it back around to Stranger Things, because that was one of the major plot points, was 11 trying to regain her memories. See, I brought it back around. Tony says their memorial for Eddie on YouTube. I think Netflix did it. At least he died a hero and not like that bully kid, not Tom Cruise. Oh, I forgot all about him. I forgot about the bully with the Letterman's jacket. Like, I never bothered to learn that character's name. Never. I just didn't care. He was there just to be there and to say that the Hellfire Club was a cult. which they literally could have just gotten one of the police officers to think that, or a parent. They didn't need his character at all. And I don't think he died. Did he die? No, he got beat up. He got beat up by Lucas. I don't think he died though. So he says, I get all my news from Reddit and Winona. I don't think it's a great. Oh, did you say QAnon? Are you trolling? You must be trolling. Don't say that word in here. It's like the bye-bye man. Don't think it, don't say it. Don't think it, don't say it. Anyways, back to Stranger Things. I was saying about 11 regaining her memories, which makes sense because when something traumatic happens, especially if it's an extreme trauma, it can make you lose your memory. That's why one of the reasons why they extended certain statute of limitations, because when certain crimes are committed by two people, they might actually block out that trauma and then it resurfaces years later. So that's why one of the reasons why they did that. But anyways, like I was saying, I felt like it was a little bit long. It could have been broken up into different episodes. I don't know. I don't feel satisfied. Like for the ending, I feel more satisfied with the ending of Chucky than the ending of Stranger Things. Lorden says, leave Winona alone. Toyman says, I was trolling, but not Tom Cruise was split in half by the Vecna quake. Oh, that's right. That's how he died. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He did get split in half. That was a pretty good visual. Like that looked right. There was a nice scene with Dustin going to see Eddie's uncle and telling him that he was a hero and how he saved his life and everything. And I thought that was good. That was a good closure for the uncle, because I know the uncle knew the whole time that his nephew was not capable of being a murderer. And I'm sure the townspeople were probably treating him like a pariah because they all believed that it was Eddie doing the murders. I thought the whole build-up to 11 facing Vecna was kind of whack, because you had her go through all these things. You had her lift up like how many tons? Like, what was it, a 500-ton or 50-ton? I don't know the exact weight. Sensory deprivation chamber, and then she gets in there and she barely can fight him until was it Will? No, it was Mike. So Mike does his long soliloquy about loving her and telling her to fight for it. And I was just like, really? Like, you built all this up, and even her slamming the helicopter to the ground with the governor on her neck. Like the neck thing, I'm gonna call it the running man, the running man neck collar that she had on. I think that was supposed to control her powers, and she was able to throw that helicopter into the ground with that on her neck. And she gets in the upside down in Vecna's world, and all of a sudden she can't do shit. Like, that was annoying. I want to see her twist up his arms and stuff. Lauren says, yeah, someone felt the same way I did about the 11 fight. Yeah, that was like, it was a build up for nothing. Real, like, it was whack. That should have been like, remember at the end of WandaVision when Wanda was fighting with Agatha, or even with Vision fighting, you know, I guess colorless or white Vision. Like, that should have been an epic battle. That shouldn't have been just her whimpering with his little tentacles around her neck. Like, that was pointless. She might as well not have powers if that was all she was going to do. Mari says, would you prefer reviewing Love, Death, and Robots at some stage? I actually am looking forward to reviewing that. There's a lot of episodes of it, but they are relatively short. I'm just trying to figure out when and how to do it, because the episodes are so short. Like, I haven't seen the new season, but the first season that I watched, a lot of the episodes were like 7 to 15 minutes long. So I'm thinking, how do I present that? Do I do like multiple episodes in one stream and just dedicate it to Love, Death, and Robots by itself? or pair it with something else. I'm thinking of doing the first option of talking about multiple episodes in one live stream. Toyman says the director's confirmed as to why Will was actually crying. I read somewhere that Mike and Eleven were supposed to dance and have Will stare at Mike. I wish I can find it now. It makes sense because the whole season Mike was giving that he's in love with Will, but they didn't have it's like they had enough balls to have Robin mention her queerness, but they didn't have enough balls to do Mike the same justice. And that's one of the things that I like about the Chucky series. But again, the writer and director Don Mancini is a gay man, so he's going to have a little bit more of a better gauge on how to do that. And I get why the Duffer Brothers might be faltering because, well, I'm just assuming. I don't know their background, but I'm assuming they're cishet. And I know myself, I am cisgender, heterosexual, and I would have pause to try to write a gay character because that's not my lived experience. So I think what they would need to do is get some gay people in the writer's room if you want to do that and make it a little bit more authentic. Do that. Don't try to write about an experience that you can't fully gauge. So that would be how I would approach it. If I wanted to have that character come out as gay, I would definitely have someone in the writer's room that's their lived experience. Even myself reviewing things, like for a long time, I was a little bit nervous about reviewing gay horror because I was afraid that I would misspeak, or I was afraid that I wouldn't get certain contextual cues because I'm not part of that community. But then I thought about it. Well, is this the way? And I might have said this before. Is this the way white reviewers feel like if they're reviewing a black movie? Like, do they feel like afraid that they might misspeak or that they might miss contextual cues? And then I thought to myself, well, how are we going to learn about other cultures if we don't talk about them, if we don't have discussions? So I feel as long as it's done in a respectful way, then I think as far as critique is concerned, as long as it's done in a respectful way and it encourages conversation, then that's the way I'm going to approach it. Wait, I think I put that up there, but I didn't read it. Lorgen says, no, the Exorcist TV show first. I'm still traumatized. You know what? I kind of wanted to pair the Exorcist TV show with Evil. I don't know if you've seen the TV show Evil. It's on Paramount or Paramount Plus or CBS. I think it's on CBS. But I go over to my mother's because she has Paramount Plus and she was watching Evil, so I was checking that out. I kind of like it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But the Exorcist TV show definitely surprised me because I thought it was going to be trash. I was like, how are you going to make the Exorcist TV show? That's going to be trash. And then I started watching. I'm like, this is actually good. And I think, isn't John Cho in it as well? I think it's John Cho that's in that. Marty says, the Jibaro episode is amazing. Are you referring to, Jibaro, you're talking about Love, Sex, and Robots. Is that the one with the dancing lady in the water? I keep seeing GIFs of her and it's fascinating. Tommy says, bingo. They also said that no main characters would die because this isn't Westeros. Well, you know how Game of Thrones do. Game of Thrones, that first season really had me gutted because you got us all, into knowing the Stark family, and you think that Ned Stark is going to be the hero. You think, oh, this guy, they're setting him up. He's going to be the hero. And then they're like, nope, this dude's dead. And I said, oh, this is how this show is going to be? This is how this show is going to be. And that didn't prepare us for nothing. I mean, the thing is, what's funny is when it first started, I'm going off on a tangent, but when Game of Thrones first started, I started reading the books. So I had started reading, I think it was A Song of Fire and Ice, or is it A Tale of Fire and Ice? I think it's, I'll tell you right now. Let me see. No, I don't want to do updates right now. Later. Going to my Kindle. Okay, let's see. No, that's Clash of Kings. That's A Feast for Crows, A Sword. That is A Storm of Swords. I didn't read that one yet. A Feast of Crows. I didn't read that one yet. I have mad Charlene Harris books on here too. This is look here. Charlene Harris is the person that wrote the True Blood series. But I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of her books on here. Yeah, this one, it just says, it's funny on the it just says a Game of Thrones. It doesn't say the subtitle, which is weird. Because I'm pretty sure it's like a, oops, wait. Cover. Yeah, that's the cover. It just says Game of Thrones, but I'm pretty sure it's like the first book is called A Song of Fire and Ice. That's weird that the e version of the book doesn't have the subtitle. It just says a Game of Thrones. That's so weird. Because I know the paperback version. Also, if you guys wonder what's on my iPad, this is a strange. Let me go like this. It's a strange sidetrack, but I will show you. I have on here. So I'll hold it up there. I have, of course, since I clicked on this, it goes back to saying I'm at 1% because it's like I'm rereading it, but I'm not. I have the Dune. This is the Dune graphic novel. And then this is Eternals, Manifest Destiny. This is just Eternals. That's another the Eternals, but I can't read what that one is. This one is Neil Gaiman, American Gods, although I have the paperback somewhere over there too. Another Eternals, Avengers. This one is Vision and Scarlet Witch. And then this is the Vision comic book, another Vision comic book. House of M, which I'm at 88% on House of M. I didn't finish that one yet. I have Let the Right One In, the Hellbound Heart, which I also had the what do you call it? Paperback over there. A book called Unfuck Yourself, which I just started reading. A couple, like 3 different books about Buddhism, because I was interested in that. These are like spring fashion stuff. This says Sony Mini Hi-Fi Component System. That was like an old system that I had. That was the what do you call it? The user manual. A couple more user manuals. Another user manual for Olympus camera. Clash of the Kings, which is another George R.R. Martin. It's another follow-up to Game of Thrones, but I never read that one. I have it on here, but I didn't read that one yet. The Artist's Workbook. Oh, what else? A bunch of business guides. A lot of these are still books from when I was in grad school that I had. So I'm that's what I'm skipping over. I'm skipping over my textbooks because you guys wouldn't be interested in that. But yeah, the Charlene Harris books are like Dead Until Dark, Dead to the World, Dead as a Doornail, Definitely Dead, and Altogether Dead. And then a couple more, George R.R. Martin, A Feast for Crows, and a Storm of Swords. But that's on there. Okay. All right, back to what I was saying. Oh, I got a bunch of comments. Let me get to these comments. Marty says, I was the same when I wanted to review the African-American Western, The Harder They Fall. I was terrified of fucking it up, so I asked you in Night Watch, which was great help. Definitely. And I appreciate you asking. That's like the right thing to do. And I think that you did a good job with your review as well. But yeah, the only way we're going to learn about each other is to have these conversations in a respectful way. Then we can learn and do better, and hopefully things will get better. I know times like these make it feel like things are never going to get better, but all we can do is keep trying. Marty says, yes, it was the one with the siren and the conquistadors. Yes. Like I said, I've seen, there's actually a YouTube video of a girl who recreated the dance. She did the choreography, but I have not seen that episode yet, but I've seen a lot of artwork and a lot of GIFs and different things surrounding the episode. So I think that it's pretty amazing. Tony says a song. Yeah. A Song of Fire and Ice. Tony says, I don't see Omnibus on there. I'm having a problem trying if Omnibus is one of the ones relating to the boys, I'm having a problem loading those on there. I'm gonna keep trying this weekend and see if I can get those boys comics on there. If not, because that's an iPad. It's either 2 or 3. Either way, it's like way obsolete, and I can't put any other new apps on it. So that kind of sucks. The only thing that still works on it is the Kindle. Marty says, that's an eclectic mix of reading. I love it. Well, thanks. I would have more, but I couldn't put Webtoon on there, but I do have Webtoon on my little phone here. And if anybody's interested, there are free Webtoons available for you to read. The app itself is called Webtoon. And you can read the Webtoons that All of Us Are Dead is based on, and also the Hellbound series is based on a Webtoon. I'm not 100% sure, but Kingdom might also be based on a Webtoon or a graphic novel. Let's see, while I'm here, why don't I just go ahead and Google that? Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I almost closed myself out. Okay, let's see. Is Netflix Kingdom based? Says fans of the Netflix original series Kingdom will not be disappointed. This South Korean graphic novel was the inspiration. Yes, so Kingdom is based on a graphic novel. Let me pull up the image. I'll share the copy. Okay, this is the graphic novel that Kingdom is based on. It's called The Kingdom of the Gods. I'm not sure where it's available yet, though. Let me see. Oh, Amazon. There we go. All right, before I wrap things up, does anybody have anything else to say about how Stranger Things ended? Tony Man says, I'm more of a mafia, music biography, wrestling biography, violent comics, and amazing Spider-Man type of guy. Oh, you know what's interesting? I thought that you like Batman. And that I for some reason, I was thinking you like Batman more than Spider-Man. I was mistaken. So you like Spider-Man more than Batman. Because I remember you talking about all the Dark Knight movies. You didn't say, how did you feel about the new The Batman movie? Lauren says, Sweet Home season 2 and 3 are coming same soon, like a movie. Oh goodness, I gotta get there's so many shows I gotta watch. and not enough time because I have to finish Sweet Home. I watched up to episode 6 and I wanted to cover those too. Okay, so this weekend I need to make like a production schedule because I also have a lot of regular reviews that I need to do. Like I'm really, really behind on my recorded regular reviews that I usually do. There's so many that I got to get done. So I'm thinking in order for me to do that, I'm only going to be able to stream on this channel for three times a week at most in order for me to get back into my recording schedule for my regular reviews because there's so many movies that I have to get some reviews done. I feel like I'm so behind. And then in let me see, 2 weeks, Nope comes out. There's just a lot. There's so much content. So much. Okay, Marty says that he felt that Stranger Things ending was lackluster. I have to agree. The scene with 11 reuniting with Hopper was touching. Still lacks something. Have to agree. It ended like Empire Strikes Back, and I think the last season is going to be Jedi. I do like Batman as well, and think the Batman sucked balls. Too damn long. It was long. My thing is, I didn't like the Catwoman at all. Like, they took all the oomph out of Cat. Like, how do you make Catwoman boring? How do you make Catwoman? Like, I think that what's her name? I can't remember her name. Zoe Kravitz. I think she looks great as Catwoman, but other than just looks, there was nothing there. It's like you could have just hired a model then if you're just going to do that. It was really, really nothing there. But then it depends on what they gave her to work with. Maybe they didn't give her too much to work with. Tony, you saying 11 fights Ewoks? No, it wouldn't be 11 fighting the Ewoks. It would be wait, if 11, if we're thinking 11 is the Luke Skywalker, then 11 fights with the Ewoks. Speaking of a Catwoman, I got the Batman 66 Eartha Kitt Catwoman and did a review. Oh wow. Now that is the quintessence. Like she's not the first Catwoman. I believe Julie Newmar was the first Catwoman, but Eartha Kitt is the Catwoman I remember the most. I also thought Michelle Pfeiffer was a pretty good Catwoman. I thought she was good. I think Halle Berry could have been a great Catwoman. I just think that movie had some writing issues and also some special effects issues. But I don't think that that's necessarily Halle Berry's fault. Tony Man says, I like the Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises, but she was the wrong color for my taste. I don't even know what that means because Catwoman changes color every other Catwoman. That's why I think it's funny when people get online and they get so angry about race swapped characters. Like every time, well, a few years ago when I used to be the type of person that would argue on Twitter, now I don't. I just keep scrolling. I'm not arguing with these idiots. But back in the day when I used to be the type of person that would engage with people, whenever they start, pissing and moaning about race bending characters, I would just post a collection of like all the different Catwoman and just write Catwoman. And that's it. That's the whole tweet. Just Catwoman. If you're okay with this lady every time she shows up looking like a different person, then shut the hell up. Matter of fact, I think the next Catwoman should be Asian. you go get one of these girls, one of these K-pop girls, and make her Cat. Matter of fact, I know which one. Hwasa. That's the next Catwoman. I'm going based only on the waist to hip ratio. Oh, I should show you what Hwasa looks like because some of you might not know who she is or what she looks like. Let me stop my screen and I'll show you who Hwasa looks like. All right, this is Huasa. She's one of the singers from Mamamoo. That's her face. I think she would make a nice Catwoman. Yeah, look at this. Look at this face. I can see that being Catwoman. And this is a woman that she trends every time she's seen at an airport, like just literally just walking through an airport. All right, so anyways, let me go back here. Lorgen says Matt Reeves tried to outdo Nolan and failed badly. Tommy says Eartha Kitt was the one I had a crush on. Mm-hmm. Marty says while Numair, Merriweather were sultry, but Kit was badass. She like didn't flirt with Batwoman so much as threatened to tear off Batman's balls. She took no shit. Mm-hmm. Full Mickey Latte says not Miss Korean Beyonce. Girl, that's Beyonce's daughter. Full Mickey Latte. Beyonce sent her a whole care package with that her collab that she did, I think it was Blue Ivy and Adidas. Let me see if I can find images of that. Hawassa. Adidas. Ivy Park, not Blue Ivy. Ivy Park. I wrote the wrong thing. Yeah, that is Hwasa wearing the Adidas Ivy Park that Beyonce sent her, because that's her unofficial Korean daughter. I want to see them do this is Beyonce in the same outfit. That's the Ivy Park. But she sent her the whole like line of clothes, and then she is wearing it again on television. Oh, all of Mamamoo got the Ivy Park. But yeah, that's her baby girl. That's what's in the ad campaign for Ivy Park. Yeah. Those are the two people I want to see work together. I want to see Hwasa do a song with Beyonce, and I want to see CL do a song with Little Kim, because CL, that's another one of Little Kim's babies. And I don't know how I got off on this tangent, but Tony says, I want to see Kimono or whatever her name was from The Boys as Catwoman. You mean oh God, why can't I remember her name? I want to say it's not Kyoko. Oh, that's gonna bug me. It starts with a K. Let me see if watch Google filled in. No, it didn't fill. Kimiko. That's her name. Kimiko. I don't know. I can't see. I think if that's her doing the stunt work, yes. I think she's a good. If that's her doing the stunt work in The Boys, I would like to see it, or see her at least in something else action packed. But I haven't seen too much. Like we only got one episode, this one here, when she got to X Sexy. But she still has. I don't know. I'd have to see it. Marty says she was already in the DC universe as Katana. You're right. That is her playing Katana. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that was her playing Katana. Why they always give her this girl characters that don't speak? What is this actress's name? Who plays Kamiko? Karen Fukuhara. Karen Fukuhara, put in your contract for the next role that you play as a character that can speak. Because I swear, Katana didn't say shit, and Kamiko ain't said shit. And I just want to know what's up with that. Why is it? Or maybe it's something the actor wants to do. Maybe that's her bag. Maybe that's what she want to do. There was some stuff I did want to show you. Let me see if I could find it. There was some cool behind the scenes stuff from Stranger Things. Let me see if I can find it. Just bear with me. My computer's a little slow because it wants to do an update, and I don't want to update until after I get off the stream. Because I never have good luck when I try to update before I go on a stream. It always makes some shit wonky. So I'm going to wait till after the stream to do... yeah, this is it. Let me get this queued up because I thought this was really cool. I just make sure that the audio is off because you know how YouTube does me with the copyright-ish. This was pretty cool. It's a time lapse of them doing Vecna's makeup. Before I do it, let me read this comment. Marty says, it's funny she plays all their badass, but at convention, she's like super adorable and asking, can she take selfies with fans? Yeah, she gives me that. She seems like she's that type of person. I've seen some pictures of her on Twitter with fans, and she comes across as very, very friendly. But this is the time lapse of them doing Vecna's makeup. You had to be really, really patient to go through this. Someone says, I know that the Vecna makeup was so good that it made Millie Bobby Brown cry. And then again, when doesn't she cry? I don't know. Do you have something against Millie Bobby Brown? Leave that little girl alone. Everybody's picking on her too much. Matter of fact, I have one of her too. Oh, my internet's really slow, but let me see if this is a good one. Hang on a second. It's like loading. There we go. This is her getting her hair done. Says, how long does it take to become 11? This is them pre-wrapping her hair so it'll be flat to her head so that they can put the cap on, which they could have done season 1. I know she's probably mad as hell. Like, why didn't you do this season 1 instead of cutting all my hair off? All right, that's not. I can't show that. Yeah, I think this one's better because it shows more her hair. they process. Yeah, they put a lot of detail into that. So I mean, it says she cries in Stranger Things. She cried in Godzilla. All I see is Millie Bobby Brown tears. There was a supercut I think somebody made of all the kids crying in this season of Stranger Things. Let me see if I could find it. Because I think every character made them cry. Let me see if some let me see if it's still up here. Oh no, these are the audition tapes. Oh, they were so young in their audition tapes. Cast of Stranger Things plays with puppies. No, I guess it was only on Twitter or TikTok. I don't feel like opening the TikTok app right now because I just don't feel like it. But like every kid had to cry this season of Stranger Things. I don't think there was a character that didn't have to cry. I wonder if they're going to shave Anya Taylor-Joy's head when she's playing Furiosa in the Mad Max Fury Road prequel. I don't know. Because the thing is, it depends on how thick your hair is. Because Anya's hair looks a lot thicker than Millie Bobby Brown's. If your hair is fine enough, then they can just do that wrap like they did to Millie's hair, where they just wrapped it around her head and hairsprayed it, shellacked it, whatever you want to put on it to keep it down to put the skull cap on. Anya Taylor Joy's hair looks a lot thicker, and it might be harder to do that with. She might end up looking like Alien Nation if you try to do that with her. I don't know. Tony says, try to find the Eddie Memoriam without sound, but don't if you think you'll get dinged. Okay, let me see. Okay, that's I found In Loving Memory. There's an In Loving Memory of Eddie Munson featuring the cast, and then there's, let me click on it before I play it on the screen and see what happens. Okay, if this doesn't have music, I might be able to play it. Hold on. Lorna said, Double Toasted had me in tears laughing when they reviewed Stranger Things. I got to watch their review because they, like, Corey and Martin are hilarious. And I got to watch it. I got to watch it. See, that's my goal. One day I want to have my setup at least halfway as nice as Corey and Martin setup. But they've been doing this for 20 years. No, more than 20 years. Almost 30 years, because Corey and Martin started on public access television. And then I don't know if you guys remember, if you watched Double Toasted, when they used to be on this website called Spill, and they used to have these animations of themselves reviewing movies. And I used to love their theme song. What was it, like, I ain't got $6 to pay or something like that? I remember that, and I remember being so surprised when I saw Martin, because when I first heard about them, I was listening to Spill, so I only saw them as cartoon characters and heard their voices. And what was funny is the cartoon Corey looked similar to regular Corey. But cartoon Martin has this big ass afro and, and a skinny hat. I'm like, that looks nothing like Martin in real life. Where's his hat? Where's his cat daddy dance? I don't know. Lord knows I'm talking about. If you're a double toasted watcher, then you know Martin has his dance or dances. He has multiple dances. But yeah, I gotta watch their review. What I typically try to do is if I'm going to talk about something, I try not to watch other people's reviews because I don't want to inadvertently repeat something that I heard rather than it coming directly from me. So what I'll do is after I've talked about something, if I plan on reviewing it or talking about it, then I'll watch the reviews after I've done mine. And then it's kind of fun to find out if someone has noticed the same things you notice. But let's see. Let's play this.
This is in memory of Eddie Munson. He's gone far too soon.
Eddie! Here are a few words about Eddie from those closest to him.
Wherever you are, I hope you give him hellfire.
I wish that I had more time to play D&D with you.
I'm gonna miss you so much. When I met you, I thought, man, finally, someone who could compete with such just a beautiful flow. What a great name.
You're a very passionate person.
Very passionate.
Excellent guitar player.
Excellent guitar.
Yeah. I can't imagine how we could have done all this without you.
Eddie, you were the coolest nerd that Erica ever met.
I can't believe how much Erica has grown. Erica was a little girl.
Thank you, Eddie. We'll miss you and that amazing wig that you had.
Epic guitar solo, bro. We'll miss you.
Wherever you are, I hope they have metal.
He was British? I did not know the actor was British. Why do I not guess that? These Brits, they fool us so many times when they do American accents. Like, I never can tell that but when we try to do their accent, you can clearly tell when we're messing it up. But they could do our accent with no problem. I did not know that dude was British. Marty says, oh, wait, I skipped one. Lauren says, yes, he does. Laugh my ass off. Marty says, Double Toast is brilliant. Corey is brilliant talking about the Predator prequel. Say he wants the Predator to team up with Harriet Tubman. I remember that. That's the only thing that would make that movie more interesting to me is if something like that happened. Or if the Predator has to take out like colonial people that are trying to colonize the natives. Like, because I can't just have, grow a bow and arrow versus Predator. No, that's not going to work for me. I think they need to do a presto changeo where the Predator actually ends up working with her against the colonialists or colonizer, however you want to call it. He says, wait, not Tom Cruise is British? No, that was Eddie at the end. Here, let me put it back. This was him, the guy that played Eddie at the end of the memorial video. If you look here, I'll play it.
Get a haircut.
He's British. I didn't know. Let me see. He starts talking right about here.
Wherever you are, I hope they have metal and D&D. Final message to Eddie. Get a haircut.
Yeah, I did not know that actor was British this whole time. Let me think if there anything. Tony Man says, wow. Yeah. And he's like proper British, not like Jason Statham British. I know I'm messed up for saying that. But those are two distinctly different accents. I don't know which one is proper. I'm just talking out of my ass. But I just thought it's very, like, his accent sounds very, I went to privet school. Like it doesn't sound like, like how whatever it is that Jason Statham says. I know that's a London accent. I'm bullshitting because I think it's funny how I've watched so much British content that I'm starting to recognize the different accents. And I wonder if that's what it's like for the people in UK when they hear someone from New York versus someone from Texas versus someone from California or someone from Chicago, how different our dialects and our accents are. I'm starting to notice that with content from the UK. Although I still get some things mixed up because to my untrained ear, some people from the northern part of England can sound like they're from Scotland. Although if you say that to them, they'll be very upset. I mean, it's just, to my ear, it sounds very similar. It doesn't sound exactly the same, but it sounds very similar. But I really like the just within the UK, the Manchester accent is kind of cool. And after watching like however many hours of Get Back, I forget the place where the Beatles are from. That accent was stuck in my head for like days on end after listening to Paul McCartney argue with John Lennon. That was Liverpool. That's where they're from. Yeah, that accent was stuck in my head for days. But I think the Manchester accent is kind of cool too. A lot of people only think the London accent is cool, which it is. But I'm just talking specifically of England. Now, Ireland, I don't know the different specific accents. I just know the difference between listening to an Irish accent versus a Scottish accent, but I don't know the different areas within Ireland or Scotland yet. Maurice has got to bounce to chat with Jen, but always fun hanging out. This was a great crick. I don't know what that word means. Crick. You'll have to tell me what that means, Marty. And Tony says he doesn't sound like that girl, the chav, or like the dudes from Attack the Block. Yeah, it's my understanding that chav is a derogatory term. So I don't know whether I should say it or not. If it is, I'm apologizing right now if it's a derogatory term that is not to be said by certain people. But I've heard it. I heard that term being used on Misfits. Oh, like Tony just said, being the actress from Misfits. Yeah. But yeah, I'm seeing that my stream is going on almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else I should talk about before I get out of here? Because I gotta go watch The Boys and figure out what my schedule is gonna be for the rest of the summer. Because I feel like there's just so much I want to watch and talk about, and there's not enough time to watch and talk about everything. Oh, I should mention before I go. Let me put this up before I go. Let me close that out. Stop sharing that. Open this. That I do have another channel. And I am, oh, actually, why don't I do this? Why don't I do this instead? This will be easier than me trying to find those individual images. This is my other channel. It's called Fashion Freak TV. And as you can see, I only really post there on Mondays and Tuesdays, but we talk about 90 Day Fiance, which is on season 9. The last episode I talked about was episode 12. And we also talk about 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise, which is on its second season. And I just recently reviewed episode 4. So if you're into 90 Day Fiance content, check that out. I also have reviewed The Courtship, and I may be reviewing some, like when 90 Day ends, I'll probably end up reviewing some other type of reality show. But just wanted to let you guys know that I'm on there. And then also, as a reminder again, oh, come on, internet, catch up. You have to scroll down because I don't know why we still don't come up at the top, but Hood Podcast is where you want to go if you want to see us reviewing The Boys. Our last video that we did, we reviewed The Boys, as you can see here, season 3, episode 7. We did episode 6, Herogasm. We also talked about Obi-Wan. We talked about Stranger Things a little bit. We'll probably talk about Stranger Things again on Monday. We'll probably talk about both the episode that drops today of The Boys, and we'll talk about Stranger Things most likely. And if we have time, we'll get back into a little bit of Hood news. But just to let you know, this is, let me go back so y'all can see that the little man. You see that little man with the baseball cap? That's how you know it's us. Okay, got a couple more comments. Read that one already. I'm going to watch the Boston Red Sox. Oh, the Boston. Are you trying to say Boston? The Boston Red Sox lose to the Yankees and then watch The Boys. All right, so let me get ready to get out of here too because I want to relax, put my feet up. I don't know. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until a little bit later to watch The Boys, though, because I don't want to watch. I never want to watch The Boys during the daytime. Like, it's a nighttime show for me. I want to watch it at night. Tony says, great cross promotion. Okay, I got a new outro, by the way. Same way I got a new intro. I got a new outro. So I'm going to put that up. Hopefully y'all like it. Watch it to the end. You're going to get a kick out of the end of it. And with that, I'm going to say have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey. Turn it down and turn it down right